So the kids had a Dell Alienware R10, which was a 5600X, along with 16 gigs of memory, a cheap spinner hard drive, and a 3080 that I think was like $2,000 during the peak of COVID. They didn't really use it much, collect a lot of dust. That was a horrible case, a very small case for the R10, and it created a lot of heat. Pretty much could have heated their bedroom and probably half the upstairs with it. So they're getting back into gaming now. They're getting a little bit older. I had already built a Lian Li fish tank case, an 011 Evo Dynamic RGB for myself. That was a 9800 X3D. I wanted to harvest as much as out of their kit as possible, but there really wasn't much in there. There was a single SSD. There was the 5600 chip. The memory I really didn't want to reuse. So what I did, shopping around Micro Center the last few days, I found this open box 011 Vision Compact, and picked up a few other parts from Micro Center that were open box. Grabbed some case fans, grabbed some case fans. Like, I couldn't get enough of these Lian Li ones in a reverse at a decent, or I really couldn't get them. There was an open box one as well at Micro Center. Couldn't find enough of them there, so I'll wait till they come in. I managed to grab a few off of Amazon. It's kind of a knockoff, I guess, of the Lian Li brand, but they look fairly decent. We'll be using these until I can get a decent price on some more Lian Li's. We're going to do it with a front-mounted cooler, or excuse me, video card. I did have this Lian Li HydroShift in white. It's a HydroShift 360R, and it's a little bit of a problem fitting it in this case. Didn't realize until after I bought the case. But up here there's a bar that goes across, and it would interfere with where the hoses come out of the water radiator. So I had to cut this bar up here. And it came with fans, but the fans were exhaust fans. I needed reverse. So I decided to change some stuff up in the case. We'll be using this as an intake. I kept two of the fans on here. The third would have interfered with the hoses, as you can see. These are RGB. They came with the HydroShift cooler. I did pick up a Lian Li, pretty nice power supply. I like these Edge power supplies. So I picked up one of those to go with it. Here's the HydroShift LCD screen. I think they're going to enjoy this, so I wanted to walk through the remaining parts of this build. The only thing that I really harvested from the old build was one SSD and then this 5600 Ryzen chip. Eventually, as I flow through computer components, they'll end up getting the 9800 out of my PC as I move up to whatever happens to be next. They don't stick around too long. So, walk you through the remainder part of this build. I wanted to get these Lian Li fans on the radiator. Use these fans down below because this will be in this tray. It's really easy to take out when I want to shift it later on. And I find some fans, so we'll use those down below. Memory, got some Gigastone. This is 32 gigs of, I believe it's DDR6000, and RGB to kind of go with the theme of this. It'll be all blinged out with RGB. And then, surprisingly, when I was at Micro Center last Saturday, they happened to have the PowerColor Red Devil Spectral White, which is going to look fantastic for this build. Comes with little key covers, the sticker. I think this one is the limited edition one, but really nice graphics card here. I mean, for the money, you're still spending a lot. I think this was $869 for a 9700 XT. But sure beats NVIDIA pricing right now, and it'll look great in this white case. They even did white PCB, so pretty lucky to find that at a decent price. So off with the builds. I enjoy building with these Lian Li's in the other. I know they're expensive, but I enjoy building with them in the other computer that I built for myself. It's all in black. I'll show a video of that, or at least some pictures of that in a moment. But so I figured I'd do the kids the same way. And the fun part about these Lian Li's is you end up not quite having, if you don't go into it and know that SL Infinity fans only work with one controller, TL fans will work with another controller, some of the water cooler, AIO water coolers come with a controller, some don't. You really need to plan it out ahead of time. It's difficult to mix and match these things, unless of course you're just using the motherboard software like the, I forgot the name of the one that comes with ASRock, but if you're using that, then I guess you use anything you want to. But if you want to use like the L-Connect 3 as a software suite, you're really going to have to plan your build out and make sure you get the right fans for the build. And of course, in the single packs, they ship, you don't get a controller, and you get these with the dual connect plugs on the end, which is just fine if you're using a generic controller, which I will be with this at the moment until I pick up the new fans to go down here and over here. But you're gonna have to buy a 3-pack of control, or a 3-pack that comes with the controller in order to get the controller, or find one on eBay or AliExpress or somewhere else. So admittedly, these fans are way overpriced, but they go together. There's only one way to put these things together, so you have to do it right. Slide in like that. Again, these are reverse flow, so this will be the up, and this will be sucking air into the case. I'll end up with all these fans sucking in and 2 exhaust fans out the back when we're all done. A little different than what I would normally build it. So I've got to figure out how I want to do this. I want the fans coming out the bottom, or I want the plug coming out the bottom. And this is the way it goes. So we'll attach the cable down at the bottom. Think about it. And what's nice with these Lian Li fans is you can reverse this. You simply pull off this clip and you can flip the clip over, put it back on, and it allows you to change the direction that your cable is going to come out of. I think this one's going to work just fine in the stock configuration because it comes out. We can go right back here into this hole, so pretty happy with that. Start putting some of these screws in to get this thing lined up. You got to be careful if you're trying to buy the copies off Amazon. Some of them you got to look carefully because they actually don't go together. They don't have these connections on the side. They're just simply 3 fans, and they hide the fact that they don't have that fan-to-fan kind of, I don't want to call it wireless, but direct connect. I bought some Asia Horse ones, and they were like that. I had to send those things back because I didn't want cables all over the place, just creating a mess. So those are those fans. Work on these next. Want to make sure I got the orientation of the bracket correct and how it's going to fit in here. So slightly raised side. This is up. These fans again have more sticky crap all over it. These fans go together in a similar way, but I guess they don't want to directly copy or infringe on some patent that may exist. So they use just pin connectors and a socket. You got to be a bit careful in putting these together you don't bend that pin. They just don't have the same firm feel as you get with a Lian Li fan. And Lian Li stock has been kind of low and people have been price gouging it, and I'm sure with tariffs going on or coming up, that situation is not going to get any better anytime soon. So that's what these look like together. They have a very similar connection, a bit longer. Than the Lian Li ones, but they do have a pass-through, which is kind of a nice feature. So this one I have to think of as well. Yeah, I probably want it going through here. So that's going to mean, and this one isn't reversible that I can see, so I'm glad it works out this way because I can tuck it under and bring it through there. So get this put in place. This is the side up. I want to evenly space it. Flip it over. That's tight and close, and I know the Lian Li fans are slightly thicker than these other fans, so it's a very tight fit. Keep that in mind if you're building in one of these Lian Li 011 compact cases. Depending on how you set your cooler up over here, if you do set a cooler up over here, then you might have an issue. This case comes with both a glass top and a mesh top. If you want to mount your coolers up top side, you can just put fans over here, leave it blank, whatever you want to do. You don't have to have your cooler over here, but I thought it would look nice this way, so that's the way we're building with it. So it does have these nice pass-throughs. You can bring something such as a giant water block. I'll do it the easy way, semi-easy way. Bring a giant water block through here and just make sure that you put this back over it so you can cover that hole back up when you get this mounted. Take these screws off the fan holder that's already on your motherboard, but retain the screws because you'll be using these to install the Lian Li HydroShift mounting plates. The orientation of this, because it's a HydroShift, the top orientation is fine. I know on some coolers they want you to be on the bottom, but this in its stock form is on top anyway. Not be an issue. So we'll add some, I think this is Arctic. Like that. And screw it down, and we screw it down in the X pattern, a little on each until we get it all the way down. Cables running through there. It's nice with this. It's a two cables coming out of here. One's gonna go to the motherboard. The other will go in back and connect to a SATA power connector. That's done. 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 And done. So the CPU water pump fan header is this vertical one that's right next to the memory. And there's a CPU just fan header right next to it. I'm sure you could use either one, but just following along with what it states there. So next up, put some memory in here. This This was, I think this is Newegg. They had the best deal. I just didn't realize it would take over a week to ship from California to me. Luckily I wasn't in a hurry to build. So it's Gigastone, Game Turbo, and it's a DDR5, 6,000 memory. So we want to hit slots 2 and 4 since we're only using 2 sticks, and I haven't read anything really good about using more than 2 sticks in a AM5 board. I'm sure there's some people that have done it. I just don't want to mess with any headaches that may come along with it. So that looks pretty decent for a white build. Not too bad. So I've already installed the SSD. So that's in there. There is space for another SSD in the future. And I'm sure as the kids get into gaming more, we'll either have to change this one up. Like mine has 2 4 terabytes in it. We'll change this one up. This is currently a 2 terabyte. I believe it's a Western Digital SN7100. So not too shabby. Just DRAM-less, I believe, versus the 850X, which I have 2 of in mine. Really enjoy building with the Lian Li power supplies because they have this ability to mount either a MOLA or an 8-pin here. And you can put this about anywhere. It's magnetic. So you can stick it on top of you here, in the back, whatever you happen to, top of the drive cage. Or if you pull off this end, it has pins here that mount straight to here. And this provides both fan power and USB. So we're going to connect up this USB, and we're going to connect up the fans, tidy up what we have here a little bit, and we'll show you how that turned out. So now we've got all our connectors connected down here. We connected the addressable RGB, which is on a splitter, a 4-to-1 splitter. We connected the fan that goes to the controller that plugs into the back, or it's an add-on accessory that comes with the Lian Li Edge power supply. And we connected the USB, which also goes to that add-on accessory. It acts as a USB hub in the back, which is very convenient. So all our connections are made down here. We'll go around the back. And we'll see both of these are coming up and connecting to this accessory that comes with, I should say, the Lian Li power supply. Another reason why I really like building with these, especially in a 2-compartment case like this, because you've got easy access. You don't have to kind of look around and see where all your power connections are, and it comes with this nice adapter so you can connect all your fans, all extra USB, like coming off of stuck down here, but what you'll have coming off of the pump that can go right in, as long as I orient it the right way. Plug straight in. We'll tidy up this wire, and that's good to go. This is the SATA connection on the other side for power. As I said, down here we have a addressable RGB 4-to-1 connection, so we can hook up all our fans. I mean, in this case, as I said, I'm not using the Lian Li hub right now because I don't have all Lian Li fans in here yet. So this is convenient. I think it's $5-6 at Amazon, and it has all addressable headers on it. So you connect that up. Everything else, it'll go USBs here. The X570, unfortunately, because it's an older motherboard, does not have the USB 3.2 connection. So we just bundled that and left that back here. No reason to touch that. Here's our other fan headers. So we'll get those in here and attach those. That's for the Lian Li fans. This will be for the, we're going to have to, this one is going to need an extension, or this one will have to go on the front because I cannot make it back here. But it'll be no problem for the, let's go ahead and tuck that back in. unfortunate with using these knockoff branded fans. You really don't have that long of a cable, so we'll connect that up front. Not an issue. The motherboard has plenty of connections. We can still take care of the US or the adjustable RGBs here in the back. Pull the cap off of that one and go ahead and install. Be careful with these pins. You know, there's obviously only one way to go in. There's a gap in between. You don't want to force it in too hard because you may break off that pin and you'll have a bit of an issue. And then the other one for the Lian Li fans that are on the cooler, front side of the cooler. Plug again. I'm always a little leery plugging these in. I'm going to break a pin off and then I'm somewhat screwed. So we'll clean this wiring up a little bit before we put it all back together. But that's where we stand right now with this. We're going to go ahead and get some power cables connected, start connecting those up. And I do have, again, I almost like Lian Li sponsored this build, but in the other computer I did the Strimer Plus V2, but I happened on eBay, somebody had both the 3-pin, I'll show you what these look like. They had a 3-pin power, which is going to be perfect for their graphics card. And what you'll notice the difference between the V2 and the V3, or V1 and V2 of the Strimer Plus is, on the V2, this is a silicone coated cable and not the braided cable, so it's a little bit easier to move and kind of stays in place. But I think I paid $67 for both of these, the 24-pin and the 3-pin. I have a hard time even spending that just on the 24-pin on the V2, so thought it was a good deal. Again, it's going in a kid's computer. It'll be under their desk. I don't think anybody's going to notice the difference, and they'll be happy with the lights. So we'll go ahead and start connecting the power cables up. We'll route those through. We'll bundle them up a little bit, and then we'll get these, we'll turn it around. We'll get these pushed on the front, show you what they look like. We're getting pretty close to being able to turn on this build, so I'm getting kind of excited for that, and looking forward to, not looking forward to loading software, but looking forward to getting this together and getting the kids up and running on some games. Okay, we've got everything connected, at least on the front side. Drives are in, fans are in, and one fan, this fan that doesn't have a long enough reach, instead of buying a extension cable, I've just connected it to the motherboard. I was going to tuck this away, but actually you won't even see this because I'll be putting the GPU mount in, and it'll cover that whole area. This is a Cooler Master GPU mount. It comes in both black and white. I think it's $49 or $59 at Amazon. It has infinite amounts of adjustability. Well, even taking it off, but you can move this thing around as much as you like. Now I've really done it, I've taken it off. You can slide it back and forth. You know, you'll have to go a little deeper for the cables. You can also slide this back and forth to adjust it farther away from the motherboard or closer to give you, depending on how much space you have to the front of the case. It's all white. As I said, it comes in black as well. There's one gray wire, but it is fantastic, and it's cheaper than the Lian Li one. So I always like trying to plug this thing in first because it's a royal pain to do afterwards. Probably a royal pain to do now too. So that's in. This is really close to the case fans. I mean, this is a compact case, so it is what it is. I'm going to try and mount the GPU next. We'll figure out where it has to be, you know, back and forth across this slide, whether it's farther over or farther in, and then same thing with this direction. So I'll break out the GPU, and again, this is the power cooler. What is it called? Red Devil Spectral White. So maybe it should be called White Devil. Try and get the plastic off of this. tons of protective tape on here. Half the time I forget to take this off, and then it ends up getting hot and sticking even better to these GPUs, so best to take it off now. Unless of course you're a scalper and want to resell these. As I said, they were going not cheap, but I think they were going at or pretty close to list price at Micro Center, and fortunate enough to live near a Micro Center, so I can get decent price on parts when they're in stock. Not like mining days where you had to stand outside the store for 6 hours to find a card. But the prices are just like the mining days are going on, so that much hasn't changed. One thing I did notice is at least my Micro Center is not limiting the amount of GPUs you can buy. I was doing this build. They had another PowerColor, the 7900 GT, that if you bought an AMD CPU, you would get $100 off, and still $599 with $100 off, but every little bit helps in this environment. So I bought one of those as well because the sim racing rig had a 3800 in it, and that's starting to show its age. And I debated whether DLSS versus running a 7900 GT would be that big a deal. Ended up just deciding to go for it. Newer card. Luckily I have this tray down here. I'm going to pull these off because they'll be a little harder to get to once it's in here. I think that looks pretty darn good for a white build. I get it, the motherboard still has some black on it, and that'll change once I upgrade the kid's computer down the road. It's really hard right now to find a motherboard for a 5600X that's all in white. This ASRock Steel Tiger was as close as I get, and it's probably the 4th or 5th Steel Tiger I've built with. I really enjoy the ASRock motherboards. I haven't had any issues with them, you know. So we'll hopefully we'll have the same results here. I think from a distance perspective, that's about where I want it. I'd like to have it a little farther back, allow these fans and some air to circulate it up through here. So we're going to try right about here and lock that down. As I said, we could always adjust this. You can go with a larger card in this case. I wouldn't go too much larger. I don't know the exact dimensions on this Red Devil, but you got a little bit of room here to work with. These fans will be flowing up. These fans are flowing in, so it should provide some good cooling for it. Next up is I got to get the Strimer power to this, which is laying right here. And as I said, these older versions are a bit of a tight bend, so we'll see how this works. I may have to go through the top to get this to work the way I want it to work. In fact, we'll try that right now. Probably should have put this on before I started. As usual, out of order. It's just that the motherboard one gets in the way. I think we'll be going back through here with this. Seems like the logical path, which is, you know, kind of nice because it covers up more of the motherboard, and you'll have color running 2 different directions, which whatever color the kids choose to run it in. I'll start it off with a red and white and let them pick what they want. I'm sure it'll end up some freaky rainbow purple thing. But that is it as far as the front goes here. I'm going to clean up the back a little bit, tighten everything down, slight a bit of cable management, put everything back on it, and then we'll take it from there and show you what it looks like. Well, there you have it. Computer's done. I'm just loading some games for them. Bought them a new monitor, and this should work out rather well for them. So all in all, not too bad. A couple hours for the build, a few hours for the software, and we're all set to put it up in their room and let them have some fun with it. So hope you enjoyed the build. I got one more to go, and that's going to be the racing sim build. We'll get to that probably next week, and we'll see how that one turns out. And that's a lot less bling. That's going to be in a case that has some pretty cool cooling features, and we'll talk about that once we get to it. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you got any comments, please leave them below. Looking forward to seeing what you have to say, and we'll see you on the next one.